Welcome everybody to a new recording, new show of the Heel Heat. This is our reactions to the recent releases of WWE after we got it all set and done, and after some speculations come out and what happened. You're here with your peoples, the triad, the three, the triple threats. Jay, the King of Kings.
Still waiting for championship pen.
Benny, Mr. Future Endeavors.
Yeah, man.
and me, Paulinho. All right, y'all. So y'all already know the release, that list. I think this list is just as bad as the one that was like called the Bloody Monday, Bloody Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think this is just as bad, if not worse, because of the names on this list. Like, you might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 that they're like whatever, but then the rest of the 11, you're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And let me start with those. All right, so you have Jesse Kamea, right? Who
was just like on NXT like a week and a half ago with like Indy Hartwell. So I'm like, you just broke up another tag team for titles that don't have tag teams? For what? For what? What are you getting out of this? And your quarterly just came out with like 258 million in surplus this year. Like what in the entire fuck, bro? Like that's my biggest thing is what the fuck? What the fuck?
It made no sense. 255 million in revenues that they earned in their last quarter.
It was it's 255.8 in total revenue, and I think it's like 48 million in just straight profit.
That's like, you're not strapped for cash, bro. Like,
they're not.
Why?
This is the
problem. According to the emails, they are.
This is the because this is the problem. Because they're a publicly traded company, they have to show a return, ROI, return of investment for the shareholders all the time. They have to. That's something. So the budget cuts, I think, aren't for this quarter, but they might be for the one coming up, because now they're going to save that.
I saw it on Twitter, and I think that's the best way to put it, is people, myself included, and I think this one kind of just struck the chord with me because it made it official for me. WWE is not a wrestling company.
Not anymore.
It is an entertainment company that happens to happen in the ring sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And you can say that comes straight from people within WWE, because as I sent y'all earlier this week, I was listening to a Fightful podcast, and I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say it's Shug D was the indie wrestler that they had on there. And he basically said he was trying to interview somebody, and they said, we are not a wrestling company. We are a company that just happens to have a ring in the middle of our set.
Mm-hmm. So for me, that just kind of kills. Like, that's the final nail in the coffin for me when it's even thinking that of WWE as like a legit wrestling. Like, I held on hope that they would go back to their roots and be like a legit wrestling company, so that I can actually enjoy the wrestling, I can enjoy the product, but like, I can't even enjoy it no more. Like, it's just, ugh. Like, I look at it and I'm like, my family likes this, but like, I can't really rock with y'all no more. Like, and it sucks because it's like, I want to support Biggie, I want to support Xavier Woods, because like, they're finally getting to do stuff that I've wanted to see for like 15 years. But at the same time, like, even though they're doing stuff that I love to see, the company in itself is just going in a direction that I don't vibe with. Like, that's the hard part. It's like trying to support the wrestler and not the company is impossible right now.
Yeah, it is. And the thing is too, they still got Bray Wyatt merch out there too.
Yeah, like,
and he's not there no more. I was like, 90 days he hasn't been there for them, and they still got the merch. I'm like, oh man. So going on this list, we got also Zeta Ramier. I don't remember her. Trey Baxter.
I mean, he popped a little bit, but it's inconsequential. And I think that a lot of these are just like they didn't really know what else to do with them in NXT. So it's like they had a little bit, but they aren't big meaty men the way Vince likes. So they're expendable.
Yeah. Indian wrestler Jeet Rama. I think that I think they're trying to figure it out, and he just didn't cut it for some reason for them.
Yeah.
The one that surprised me was Katrina Cortez. Like, didn't you just add her to the Phantasma? I'm like,
who's that? Oh, the chick from Legado del Fantasma?
Yeah.
Bro, she just got on TV. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
She got on TV. She got her feet wet like 2 months ago, bro. Like, had her first match, and both women in that match happened to get released. So it's like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we just started to get interested in these factions again because you started adding female wrestlers and treating them like wrestlers and not just eye candy. And then you start releasing people, and it's like, oh my God. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, the direction that they're going, I think, Benny, you mentioned this, is that they're just going to focus on certain people and trim the fat. But it's like, the people that you're focusing on, I don't give a shit about because I've seen them for the last 10 years. Like,
and the storylines are getting boring too.
Yeah, like, what the fuck else am I going to do with Roman Reigns? Like, what the fuck else am I going to do with Seth Rollins? Like, the Big E Seth Rollins thing is cool, but the fact that I don't even mention, like, the real history of that was the first person that Seth Rollins lost a championship to in WWE. The fact that we don't even go there anymore, and instead you guys bring up the whole Dolph Ziggler thing with Big E and Drew. It's like, you know, like, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's like,
you can go even further because these guys, they don't like they don't like bringing up NXT and stuff like that. Like, I understand the whole Ambrose John Moxley thing, but you have a whole New Day versus Shield thing.
And nobody's talking about. Like, you don't even want to mention the New Day no more. Like, act like Big E was never part of the New Day. And like, y'all trying to distance Roman Reigns from the Shield, which I can understand because y'all decided to wait like another 6 years after the shit broke up to change his music and change his gear, which, dumbass, that was stupid as fuck.
In which is a whole other conversation.
That's an episode in itself, but whatever.
Yeah.
But like, Seth Rollins has long been removed from the Shield. We don't even associate Seth Rollins with the Shield anymore. I more associate Seth Rollins with the Authority than I do with the Shield. Honestly, because that's when he had his best run. But God forbid you mention the Shield and Seth Rollins in the same sentence. Like, come on. Just fucking stupid.
Yeah. Continuing on the list, the one that was kind of surprising but not surprising was Harry Smith. And the reason,
you mean Davey Boy?
Yeah, his son.
Yeah.
The reason I say it was because they just signed him. He had his dark match. Everything was looking like they were gonna bring him on, and they just do this. I was like, what? It made no sense. So, okay, now starting to get to the ones that was surprising because of like who they are. Well, let's start with the obvious one that I know Jay's gonna hate this. He's like, whatever, I don't care. But it made sense why they let her go. But then you ask yourself, why did they even bring her? And Jay already knows what I'm talking about. Eva Marie. Yeah.
Like, bro, you had so many other fucking people you could have used that money for. You bring her back for one segment with someone whose name you should have never changed, whose gimmick you should have never changed, to fire her. Like, now we stuck with fucking Dewdrop instead of Viper Nevins or Piper Nevins, and then I just gonna let the bitch go.
And then they wonder why some people like have trouble getting over because you changed their name for no reason, all because you want to keep more of the money on the merch sales.
We're gonna get
nobody's gonna buy shit with Dewdrop on it, bro. Like, nobody's gonna buy anything with Dewdrop.
Nobody over the age of 13.
Nobody that actually makes their own money.
Like 8.
Only the ones that make the ones that make their own money ain't gonna buy that because I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna. I'd rather rock something where it says Piper Nevins than something that says Dewdrop. What the hell is a Dewdrop?
Like I know technically what a Dewdrop is, but somebody named Dewdrop, like that sounds like something you would say in a Saturday Night Live sketch. Like, oh, what's this wrestler's name? Dewdrop. Like it's a punchline, bro.
Yeah.
The fucking punchline.
Yeah. So the next one, which literally lets you know they have no idea what they're doing, and we spoke about this because of the fact they just called up this faction, which was great. It's great for all people in that faction to see them moving up.
I mean, I still think it's early, but
right, but you want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, great, you're moving up. That's good. You want that. You want to see them move up. I agree. I think it's a little too early. They need a little to smooth out a lot of some of the edges that they have. But to release BFAB,
it makes no fucking sense, bro. Like, especially when you need women. Like that's the shit that kills me. Like, you need women. You need women for that women's division. And you need women of color. Now, I get it. If you don't like the gimmick because you have Naomi, you have Bianca, you don't want it to seem like it's too stereotypical. I understand that. That much I get. Then do what you did with Liv Morgan and keep her down in NXT until you change her gimmick. I mean, not Liv Morgan. Well, Liv Morgan, they did it with fucking Carmella too. So it's not like, I guess if you just throw a little backsplash on it, Vince will keep them around and invest in them. That's what it looked like to me, because you did the exact same thing for 2 other women, not even 10 years ago.
And here's the thing is,
because it's BFAB, all of a sudden, oh, she's expendable. And she just signed a new fucking contract.
Last week.
And
that thing, it turned her 30-day non-compete to a 90-day.
Into 90.
Yeah.
Which is the worst part.
She signed a main roster contract.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, that's messed up. And she does the intro for them too. So now you gotta redo the intro because she's no longer there.
You gotta spend money doing the intro.
I'm like,
when we're talking about budget cuts.
Yeah. Budget cuts. And now this is where it gets interesting, because now we're looking at a lot of named wrestlers going on here that wherever they go, they will be successful. I'm gonna start with these two one by one, that people might not realize this, but they are talented even though they didn't get to shine in WWE. I'm gonna start with Grand Metalik. First.
Okay. When we come to the Mexican wrestlers, just hear me out here. The only Mexican wrestler that they've ever been able to properly book, and I say properly only because they capitalized on the death of one of the greatest Latin American wrestlers of all time, in Eddie Guerrero, was Rey Mysterio. Because before Eddie Guerrero passed, they wasn't doing shit with Rey Mysterio either. Let's keep it real. He was booking him like straight booty meat. And then Eddie Guerrero died, and they finally figured out how to book this man. But they been asked for their release.
Oh yeah.
So this one we all saw coming anyway.
It was a matter of time.
So it was a matter of when, not if, because both of them wanted their release, and they both didn't want, like, I can tell you right now, they're both not going to AEW because Kalisto's there, and they don't fuck with Kalisto right
now. No.
So they're probably going to end up going to AAA.
I know Grand Metalik might be going back. Okay, so in case anybody knows, not realizing, we're talking about Grand Metalik and Lisa Dorado. You're right, Jay. They both asked for the release and finally got it. They both don't mess with Samurai del Sol is what he goes by now, because of what was going on with them. He got a little too big-headed. I could see Grand Metalik going back to Mexico to AAA. Lindsay, he lives in Orlando, so I could probably see him going either to Impact or maybe, like you might say, go to AAA. But that was the thing that made me laugh, because they made it seem like he was Mexican, but he's not.
Was he like Puerto Rican or something?
Yeah. I laughed because I told you guys, I was like, bro, they making this guy Mexican, but he has a Puerto Rican tattoo on his arm. Like,
it's pretty much, if you put a mask on, you're Mexican. Like, as sorry to say it, but from a recognition standpoint, you put a mask on, you're Mexican.
It's just the fact that it's like if you speak Spanish, like you're Mexican.
Like I honestly can't tell. Like I didn't even realize. I thought freaking Raquel Gonzalez was like Puerto Rican or Dominican until she came out and was like the Mexa-Texan thing when she won the title. So like I personally I can't fucking tell.
As soon as I heard her talk, I was like, those are Mexican accents. I'm like, she's Mexican.
I knew she was from Texas. Like I knew she was from Houston.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was just like a Houston thing.
I didn't know that. As soon as she started talking and heard some of the slang, I'm like, Mexican.
Well, I knew her back when she was teaming with Rhea Ripley, when Rhea Ripley was about to take off in NXT. Right before that, they were them two were teaming in dark matches. And that's what I remember her. And I remember her from the Mae Young Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And she came out like with this whole cowgirl gimmick, but she was like doing some shit. I'm like, okay, you got something. I don't know what the fuck it is, but you got something there. Like you gonna be something down the road.
I remember her from
if they keep her around and like really fuck with her like that, and it showed.
Yeah,
it's like, truthfully, you know what's funny is she's the closest thing physically to China that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember her from the Mae Young Classic too as well.
I swear to God, I just wish they had the LWO because she's the perfect woman for the LWO. Because she's strong, she's big, she can speak, but then she also looks terrifying when she's quiet. She'd be the perfect, like, she's the perfect China type for a faction.
Until they turn around and realize, oh my God, we have a woman in a male faction? No.
Yeah, you already know how it go.
Yeah.
Like, we already know how it go. I'm just saying. Like,
and that's the thing, too, is like they could have done so much with these two because of the fact that, and that's the problem that they constantly have. They don't know how to write any storylines with any Hispanic wrestlers, let alone minority wrestlers in general.
Yeah, like, but especially like I will defer to Hispanic people on this completely. They do not know how to book Hispanic, Latino, Latinx. They do not know how to book anybody of that culture in WWE whatsoever. Like I don't fucking understand it. Like I don't understand how you can't book someone without being overtly stereotypical or racist. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. Like your most successful guy came out in a fucking lowrider. Like Jesus fuck, guys. Like
cheat and steal. Like it was great.
Yeah, lie, cheat and steal. Like
it was great. What? It was great, hilarious, all that stuff. It's like when you think about it, like, golly, damn, bro.
That's mad fucked up. Like it's so fucked up, yo.
Yeah, it was a great gimmick and all, but when you like start thinking about it, it's like, damn, Holmes. It's like shit. So I wish them well. I know Lynn Dorado put a he went on his Instagram and listened to yesterday, and he was happy, but he was like kind of a little hurt. And I get it because a lot, like, here's the thing. WWE is like, I guess the top where everybody wants to go, but also where you really don't want to be because they could ruin your career.
Yep.
It's the top because it has such a global reach. So you're facing your everything will get out there for you, but you're gonna pay a price. You're kind of making a deal with the devil, per se.
Pretty much.
You know, and so I felt like that hurt him. Like he's like, I did it. My dream was to be a WWE wrestler. I was a WWE wrestler, you know, and I can see also the fact that, but they completely messed you up because they ain't know how to write nothing. When they did some stories and let them wrestle, I'm like the Hell in the Cell match they had, like all these matches, like bro, if you got the Peacock network and all that, look them up. These two put on some great matches. I ain't say put the belt on them, but at least give them like some credit and, you know, be competitive.
My whole issue with this faction, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. My whole issue with Lucha House Party was how campy it was. Like, at least with New Day, when it was campy, you let them be heels, so the campiness kind of faded. Like they embraced the campy, so it's like you're allowed a level of like campy. When it was like Lucha House, like if it was Lucha something else, but Lucha House Party was like, your name pisses me off. And then you just come out Lucha. Like I hated that. I hated the whole presentation.
Yeah.
But once they got in the ring, Once they got in the ring, once they got, in between those ropes, I fucked with them heavy. Heavy, because you knew the shit was about to be crazy. You knew as soon as you put them, and it's like, okay, these two with this team, oh, this shit's gonna be dope. These two with this guy, oh, this shit's about to be crazy. Them with Ricochets, them with the Bar, them with the New Day, them with the Uso, shit was popping every fucking time. I hate the presentation. That's a personal thing, though.
Yeah, and I don't like, take fault with you at
it.
To
me, I look at them like the equivalent to this NXT 2.0 shit. Like, that's how I look at them.
From what I heard recently, they were supposed, their whole gimmick with that Lucha House Party was aimed towards the kids. Especially if you look at what they were like coming around with the whole what you call it, what's that shooting game the kids played a lot? Fortnite. No, Fortnite. Fortnite. Because remember they came out with the little llama? That was the same llama from Fortnite. So they were like pretty much going heavy towards the kids. And I'm like, I get it, but you're ruining these guys in the same instance. They're not. They can't do that.
They need to just have a show like the way the NFL has like the Nickelodeon show that's just geared strictly towards kids. Because it feels like once they started focusing on kids and like merch sales is when they started fucking up everybody's character. That was literally like, because they saw how good John Cena did. But I'm like, okay, if that's your baby face, that's your top baby face. They're supposed to be good with the kids.
Also, not everybody can or has to be John Cena. Like,
yeah.
That's their problem. They're trying to find the next John Cena, the next Rock, the next Hulk Hogan.
Well, again,
next that. It's like, no.
According to the merch records, they already found the guy in Roman Reigns because he's outselling both those guys.
I was just about to say, like, what do Roman Reigns' merch sales look like?
His merch, he just broke a record apparently. Like he's shattering the expectations for the Bloodline merch. Like everybody's copying that shit, and I don't blame them because this shit is dope.
And I'm saying, but what reason why I'm asking that is because like that's the idea, and I know like bringing up Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns is the face of the company is a little off, but you don't have to sit up there and cater to someone who's 12 years old in order to get merch sales.
No, you don't, because at the end of the day, like I think the problem is when you have people like Bayley. And so many kids got behind Bayley because she was essentially them. They try to do it. The problem with WWE is they find a formula and they overdo it to a point where it doesn't work anymore. That's been the problem. It's like you find one gimmick that works, and now everybody's going to do the gimmick. And it's like Drew McIntyre doing the 1, 2, 3. That's stupid as fuck, yo. That kills the fucking Claymore. Where I get it, you're trying to recreate the Shawn Michaels tune in the band.
Yep.
You're trying to recreate like the get up, like for the rock bottom and shit. But 1, 2,
the whole
who the fuck thought that shit was a good idea?
The Claymore was becoming like the RKO. That shit come out of nowhere.
Right. Now, so if you're gonna do it, make it seem like it's sneaky. Don't. Oh my God, we're gonna get the crowd. The crowd is gonna get. I've never seen Randy Orton sit there and hype up somebody for the RKO. Never seen this motherfucker hype nobody up.
He just hypes he just does that whole snake thing.
Yeah,
that doesn't lead to the to the RKO. That's just him getting hyped up. He can pop out whatever on that. He can pop out RKO. He can pop out the boot, the kick, whatever he wants.
Power slam, like
Oh, his power slam. Oh man, his power slam was so smooth. It's silky smooth, man. I'm just like, golly. But all right, I digress. All right. So going back, so we got Lucha House Party. They asked for their release and they got it. The next one, the one we were talking about before we started recording, Oni Lorcan. 6 years with the company. My man put out some matches on his own and in that tag team. And he never got called up, man. I don't know
what it is.
I don't
bro.
know. Man.
You know what it is, honestly, and it's this shit that kills me about this fucking company because that's why they lost Adam Cole. If Oni Lorcan was the size of Cesaro or Sheamus, he'd be a fucking world champion. And that's the shit that blows my mind. If Oni Lorcan looked like Sheamus or again, Oney Lorcan resembles Cesaro. If Oney Lorcan was 6'3", 240, he'd be main events in WrestleMania with fucking Roman Reigns right now. Easily. Because the thing is, Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch never had a fucking tag team name, and they were one of the most over tag teams in NXT for like a solid 3 years.
And I honestly didn't mind that, because that took me back to like the 80s when sometimes you would have like two guys tag team. They wouldn't have a name. They just be their name. It's a tag team name, but there'd be tag teams and they'd be good. And I don't mind that. Like, you don't need to necessarily have a tag team name to me. If you do work in the ring, I don't care about the name. If you like, if I see, oh shit, it's Lorcan, we see Lorcan and Burch having a tag team match. I'm like, I don't give a damn about the name.
I don't give a fuck about the card.
I'm watching them. I'm watching
this match, and that's my point. But because Oney Lorcan's like 5'6",
6'1",
I mean 6'1", he's 6'1". Motherfucker looks.
They say 6'1". You know how it is. They say 6'1".
Motherfucker looks. He like my height, 5'11". I give him 5'11", right? Mm-hmm. And he's two. Let's say 212 maybe on a good day.
Here probably they have it like he has 209. He's built at 209.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
I think he's
I'll give him like
190.
A solid 200, maybe 195.
You're being very generous.
I am. Nah, because I'm saying that I'm like 190 and motherfucker bigger than me. I know that much. So like I give him like 200, maybe 195. Mm-hmm. You know? But because he's that, all of a sudden he's not a champion. He's not championship material. Like, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. He could have been in the next Boston Brawler, honestly. Like he just reminded me of the Brooklyn Brawler, but you could have actually built a gimmick around him because he's from Boston. Mm-hmm. It's bullshit. Like, it is absolute bullshit, because he, at the very least, if you weren't going to make him a world champion, he was a fantastic mid-card. He would have been he would have been beautiful in the U.S. title scene, in the freaking the Intercontinental title scene. You can throw him in and out of the tag team scene. Like, he would have thrived in that niche.
Bro, a match between him and Cesaro
would throw his little ass around, but
I know.
I'm talking about in terms of like, if you're talking about in terms of like hits,
that's what I'm talking about.
I would have gotten the bar back together just to have them face Oney and Burch one time. Mm-hmm. Just one. I just want to see that match one fucking time. But again, they don't see that. And I don't understand this shit. I don't understand this shit. Like, yeah. How is it that the fans can see shit, but all of a sudden, like, the fans can clamor for it, but then all of a sudden, because a bunch of fucking casuals are so used to being like fucking spoon-fed bullshit, and oh, this is not the look of a champion. Kiss my ass. The Rock ain't look like a champion until he was. Shawn Michaels ain't look like a champion until he was. Triple H was a fucking Englishman until they decided to turn him bad. Until they decided to turn him heel. So yeah, kiss my ass.
To allow him to be himself rather than the Connecticut blue blood.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, kiss my ass with that shit. Literally every time they tried to build somebody, the only person that Vince McMahon truly has built from the ground up and got over was the fucking Undertaker, and that's literally where his reputation comes from. Because it wasn't until they decided to go a different direction that every other motherfucker got over. So, like, it's just, you can look down the list and it's like, you fucked up. Him, you know who I'm talking about. The main guy, he didn't have to touch him. He just had to literally give him a push, keep the same gimmick from NXT, keep the same theme song, and the motherfucker would have been a superstar. Easily.
Mm-hmm. I think we all know.
We all know who the fuck that is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's like, no, we gotta change the gimmick. Why?
Because when he takes off, I need you to know that it was me, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah, motherfucker, you signed the
him up.
You signed the check stuff. So
Get off of that, bro.
You would have got credit for it anyway.
It's like, come on, let it go, like, man.
Blow a donkey dick for real. That ass, like blow a donkey dick.
All right. Benny, you got anything to say about this one?
No,
not him, not yet, but Lorcan.
No. Honestly, like Jay covered it. Like,
yeah. So the next one, another one that was shocking when I saw it, the Ember Moon. Because now we're getting into those territories where these are all shocking.
Why?
It's like
I'm not shocked.
I'm gonna be real with you. This one I'm upset about from the standpoint of you had her and didn't do anything with her, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Good. Get her the fuck out of there.
And that's how
whatever the fuck they was doing, that she kept getting hurt. And that's my thing. I don't understand how she kept constantly getting hurt. Because it wasn't her doing it. It wasn't like her making mistakes and she's busting her ass.
Nah, it's them putting her. It's them
just
putting
doing
her
stuff
in like
that you shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
Why do you have Ember Moon, one of the best wrestlers on your company, with, in my opinion, like you just want to sit up here and you want to talk about catering to a younger audience. Younger Benny will sit up here, and if I saw the Eclipse as a move, getting ready to make my character on SmackDown versus Raw, or one of these 2K games at this time, that's my move.
Her theme was right. You had you had the whole mystic thing going on where she came out with the hoodie, and then she came out and did the whole like scream and everything. Like you could have done so much with that. You could have done like her entrance would have been fire if you just add like a phoenix and into like the graphic thing when she had her eyes, and then she does the scream. You just would have did like the bird scream in the back, and then the pyro, and you leave it alone. You leave it alone. Don't touch it. That's it. You don't even do nothing else with it. Leave that shit alone.
Especially if she came back after her Achilles injury, which was another one
built her as like the Rising Phoenix,
right? Which was another one of those like why did she get hurt? Okay, because they put her in that 24/7 title chase. Thing. For what reason?
Why? Like that's dumb as fuck. And if you're gonna do it the right way, where it's like they have her walk past. Okay, she's standing on top of like a ladder or something. She hits somebody with the Eclipse. She wins the title and walks away. Like she shouldn't have been there in the first place. If you're gonna do it, do something closer to what her character would actually do, instead of having her chase after somebody. Which again, the whole gimmick for the 24/7 title is a problem until they got somebody like that to have the title, like Reggie or like Mojo. Those are the only two times they've done the 24/7 title the right way. Every other time, I love R-Truth. Still stupid. Gimmick's still dumb. Sorry. Gimmick's still dumb. So and it's like you tried to PG the hardcore title on top of that, and I'm like,
yep.
Why not just bring back the fucking hardcore title?
Yeah.
The fuck? Like just
where do you see Ember going?
Ember can honestly go pretty much wherever she wants to.
It depends on even if she wants to still wrestle. That's my biggest thing is, does Ember Moon still want to wrestle?
I think she does.
Because if she still wants to wrestle, like I could see her joining Impact. And I can see her joining WoW. Because WoW just relaunched.
Which is the one that has Mickey James on it? Is that WoW? Or is that NWA? Okay.
That's NWA. But she also works for NWA. But right now, Mickey James is the Impact World Women's World Champion because she beat Diana Perazzo in their last pay-per-view. But I think too, you look at Diana Perazzo, it's like they did jack shit with this woman. She went to Impact and literally is one of the best women's champions I've seen in a long time. And helped both, and is a double champion because I think she has like the TAA or AAA Women's Championship or some shit like that. Ember Moon literally probably should have the same trajectory, barring like nothing else getting in her way. I'm more curious to see if Ember Moon was a name that she chose, or like that was a WWE thing. I think it's a WWE thing. So if she wrestles on the indies, I'm curious to see what name she goes with. Similar to Ruby Soho.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she should keep the Ember thing. I just don't know how you function outside of that. But her journey is someone I think I'm going to follow personally. Like, I still follow Diana Perazzo. I still follow like a few women that I'm just fans of, because Diana Perazzo to me is one of, like, everyone talks about Charlotte being one of the best pure technical wrestlers. I'm like, maybe in the WWE as a company, but they let go of a lot of really, really good wrestlers.
And that's what I was like, I wonder if they let Diana go because of the fact that there was concern that
she was too good.
Yeah, because like
I will never understand that line.
I don't either, because I try and follow Diana Perazzo as much as I can on IG and Twitter. Because when I saw the matches that she did have, I was like, this girl's got some stuff. I'm like, why?
She reminded me. She's honestly what you thought Natalya would be, and I mean that with all due respect. Like, I feel like she's what I thought Natalya would be.
And I think here's another problem too, because she doesn't follow in the suit of like the whole what they want women to look like, which is
that's what I was gonna say.
Thin, like Barbie dolls, like she don't follow that suit.
That's just like a thick Italian woman.
Yeah, I'm just like, bro, but she gets it done in a ring though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you would have had like her and Tony, like her and Ruby, like you had her and who's another really good technical wrestler that they let go? Like her and Sasha would have been fantastic together. Her and Becky would have been really good together too.
That would have been interesting to see, to be honest.
Like her and Becky, because Becky's very
Bailey.
Her and Bailey would have been a fucking 5-star match. I don't give a shit. That would have been a 5-star banger for real. But again, because Bailey's a little smaller up top and in the tummy area, that's why Bailey gets over, but Diana Perazzo doesn't, because they're really similar. And Diana Perazzo's gimmick is essentially Charlotte's, but she's just not an asshole.
No, she does it
outside. Like, she's an asshole in the ring, but not outside.
She does it differently, and I think she does it better. And for the wrestlers, like, you're like, yeah, I know she's not this way, she's doing the gimmick, but with Charlotte's, like, I could see you doing that. I could see the venom coming out because that's who you are.
Yeah,
you know. So, but going back, I am following. I'm going to follow Ember as well too. I want to see where she goes. Hopefully, she doesn't give up wrestling. But I know she was in a bad spot when she just went through her injuries. You know, where she was contemplating retiring as well. That's
why I said, is Ember going to wrestle? That was my biggest question, because I don't know. Because again, she was doing well with Shotzi. They were right on the cusp of being tag team champions, and then they called up Shotzi. So
just Shotzi,
and then teamed her with Tegan Knox, only to break them up now. Split them up. And then split them up again, and now they're making Shotzi a sex symbol, which I'm not mad at.
That's not her. And that's not her. Yeah, she likes to just sit back and just do her thing.
Not even that. She's of that old school.
Shut up and wrestle.
She's that old school kind of like what you wanted. I'm trying to think of a woman I could compare her to, because she's very much that. She's what Lita, like, they're turning her in the way that they did with Lita. Because when Lita first came, she wasn't a sex symbol. She was just, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna do dope shit, I'm gonna be a dope chick. And then they turned her into a sex symbol, which she never really wanted, but she just kind of went with. I feel like they're kind of doing that with Shotzi, and like, I get it, Shotzi's extremely attractive. But the thing that makes Shotzi dope is that she's very much like a punk rock, fuck you, fuck everything, fuck the system kind of girl.
She's kind of like the female Stone Cold.
Yeah. This is one of the things that I know I'm not trying to go way too far off of anything, but this is one of the reasons why when people say they want the goddess Alexa Bliss back, I'm like, no, because you have something so different in the character that she was doing. If you want to tweak that, fine. I don't have an issue with that. But I don't want cookie cutters. With Shotzi in, her actual NXT persona, you have something unique. You have something different. I don't want another, I'm just a pretty face that's going to be a mean girl. That's bullshit. Come on. Anyway, y'all go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm arguing with an idiot on Facebook because apparently everybody else that agrees with Mick Foley about what he said about, how do you screw up Scarlett and Karrion Kross? This guy's like, oh, Foley's just bitter. He's just this. I'm like, yo, this guy has to work for the company because he's just a fucking stooge.
It's not even just that. You get a lot of people that sit up there and do that mess. They sit up there and they think that anything that is said against the company that they have the most support behind is a personal slight against them. And
he's a fucking stooge.
They don't understand that that's not how that works.
He's a stooge. He's a fucking stooge. On top
of the fact that if I'm a fan of something, that means that I'm invested in it. And if I'm invested in something and I see something that I don't like, yes, I can call that out. I don't get it.
Here's another one. Let's go back to this list. It's another one that was interesting because they changed her entire character, her name and everything. It was like a complete opposite of what she was. Frankie Monet, aka Valkyrie, better known as Johnny Mundo, John
Morrison. We call him what he is right now. Yeah. John Morrison. I know you want him back as Johnny Mundo. I know. I get it. I understand. When he was world champion, I get it. I know. But right now, he's Mr. Drip Drip. Yeah. Playing with freaking squirt straws with Liv Morgan up over in Europe right now.
And that's about to start again because guess who got eliminated from Dancing with the Stars?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Frankie Monet made no sense at all, man. It's
like nothing about that gimmick made sense. It was. I was hoping, and you know what it is too. And I think I know why they did it is because they already had a Valkyrie on the roster. They signed her around the same time they signed the chick from NXT UK that was Valkyrie, and they had that whole gimmick set for NXT UK, and they didn't want to have two Valkyries because when they have two people of the same name and the same gimmick, they start getting stupid.
Oh, you mean like how they were going to change Adam Cole's name because of Michael Cole?
Yep. Same level of stupid.
No wonder I have.
Just like notice when Austin was big, there was nobody else named Steve. Nobody else named Steve in the company. It took me a minute to realize.
Second, but he didn't really count.
Who's that?
There was for like a second, but he didn't really count. Nah, Dr. Death.
Yeah. And he was supposed
to. But I mean, they never called him Steve. You know what I'm saying? Like they never called him Steve.
The thing is, they did, but you probably don't remember because his career in WWE was short.
It was so short.
And then give me years. It's a very good chance I probably wasn't watching wrestling or wasn't born.
Yeah, because the thing is, what they wanted to do with him, they wanted to push him to the top, and instead of like doing the normal push like they do with wrestlers,
they did the brawl for all.
Yeah, because they wanted to emphasize how tough he is. He's a badass also. And he lost to Bart Gunn in like the first round.
He got knocked out. By Bart
come on, man. That's a grown man, man. He got a wife, he got kids, he got grandkids. Come on now. But yeah, he got knocked out in like I think a minute into the fight or something like that, or a minute left into the fight. He got knocked out. So that completely ruined everything they were trying to do. They had no idea. He became a jobber and then RIP to his WWE career. So that's what it was. In regards to Frankie Monet, it made no sense. Like, okay, you repackage her, great. But how much time did you give this woman to actually show what she can do? You only gave her a few matches.
She had like 3 matches, bro. Like I've seen her in like 3 matches.
She had none and she had no direction either. The first time when you debut her basically coming out like Walter did against Pete Dunne, because she came out and went face to face with Raquel, and then immediately turned around to go do something with Robert Stone, and then go do something with somebody else, and go do something with somebody else. Where was the direction?
That was the shit that annoyed me. You debut her, and I was excited.
You
I was
debut
like,
her at like the top of the card,
yeah,
and then nothing with it.
And I was like, yo, we're gonna get this match. I was like, yo, let's go. And then I'm like, wait, where's she going? Wait, why are you talking to Robert Stone? Wait, what?
Like, you went literally from the top of the card to the shit's bottom of the card.
If you listen to the podcast, you can't. If you're listening to the podcast, you can't see. I was just kind of shifting my fingers up and down, left and right, because there was, like everybody saying, no direction for her or her character at all. It's like, hey, we repackaged Tara Valkyrie. Now she's Frankie Monet. Here you go. But we're not sure we're gonna put her. Let's kind of give her a pop where she talks to our women's champion, and we don't know what to do from there. Like,
I don't understand.
I don't get it either, man. Taya is a good wrestler. She knows what she's doing in the ring. She's a veteran, and you need those type of women in the organization to help build the younger ones you have.
Now here's part of the problem with that. Apparently, and not even apparently, this just is what it is. The hiring requirements of the women have gotten more stringent. Whereas, they've gotten more stringent to the point where now is 25 and younger.
I'm surprised.
Is 25 and younger, and Taya Valkyrie is 38. So that's to me that's one of the reasons why they pulled the trigger on her. But I'm still looking at it like, you have an opportunity, even if you want to turn this and take this into a direction where you're highlighting and featuring younger talent. You have an opportunity to have these younger talent, these younger women, learn and work with somebody of that caliber, and you waste it. For what? I don't understand, man. I really don't. And I've been racking my brain for the last 2 days trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And the only thing that can come to my mind is Vince, Nick Khan, Bruce Pritchard, and Kevin Dunn are idiots, and that's it.
Bro, it's like, okay, if that's the case for her in NXT, fine, put her up on the main roster, because you barely got any women up there as it is.
Exactly.
It's just like,
no, they can't do that because they got that would give them like 3-4 women with the same gimmick.
Even then, like, you can't do that because then you can't feature Charlotte and Becky at the top of your card all the time.
Nope. And you got to put the title on somebody else. And we see what happened with that. Apparently, it's a big problem when you put the title on somebody else because, they don't get the same numbers. They don't get the same pop. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're trying to bury Bianca. Like I was worried about. I'm like, they're gonna bury her. They're gonna bury her. And there you go. Lo and behold, she's losing every match now. It don't matter how. It's like it's okay. You can lose a match and still look strong, but if you consistently lose and lose and lose,
you're not looking strong no more.
It's not looking strong
you. No more.
No.
Like, you can lose problem. 1 or 2 after you lose a title match, but you don't look strong no more.
No.
And here's the problem. Bianca has won, I think, 1 match since SummerSlam. It's not just that she's losing. It's the fact that not just the fact that she's losing to, Becky in these championship matches and things like that. It's the fact that you don't give her any type of a conclusion in the matches against Charlotte. Mm-hmm. It's that in all of the rest of the matches, Bianca's out here, she's not involved in the finish and the triple threat and all that other stuff, where you had the perfect opportunity to keep the whole Becky Charlotte belt handing over nonsense that turned into an actual shoot in the backstage from happening by having Bianca take that title from Charlotte, like reported Charlotte wanted them to do, and then having Sasha take the belt off of Becky. But no, you want to treat your titles like shit, you want to treat your wrestlers like shit, and then you want to make yourselves look like idiots. And then be like,
because you want to build around, you still can't get over this whole 4 horsewomen thing that's been dead for like the last like 3 years.
They missed the boat on that completely. We've talked about that before. They've had multiple opportunities to do the 4v4 horsewomen of wrestling versus of the 4 horsewomen of MMA. They could have finessed the last two with their limited wrestling ability. They could have made it an elimination match. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then
again, they completely whiffed on that whole 4 horsewomen thing, and they don't want to let it go now because it's like, yo, all the 4 horsewomen of MMA are pretty much gone.
They're gone. The only one left is Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, only one left is Shayna Baszler. So like, we don't care about the 4 horsewomen.
And the 4 horsewomen of WWE, they don't get along as well, and that's only because of one. It's only because of one. The other 3 get along fine, but that 4th one is the one that causes problems. So that's never gonna happen. Even if you get the 4 horsewomen MMA back for whatever reason,
ain't nobody. There's no way. There's no way Ronda Rousey's coming back. Ronda's not coming back.
I know, but I'm saying, like I said, if they get them back for whatever reason, however they pull that shit off, they get it. They're not gonna get the other 4 to like work together. If they do, it's because the other 3 are like kind of, you know what?
I mean, all right. For the team. Let me put it to you like this: if they were to do it, I can almost guarantee you, just because of the fact that it's a payday and like they're still all professionals, that it would get done. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think the issue is going to come because I think that match is best suited for like Survivor Series. It's going to come down to on the 4 horsewomen, like, okay, who's going to be eliminated in what order and this and that. And I already know off the rip.
Number 1 will be
Bayley. I already know off the rip who's
number 1 will be Bayley.
No. I'm saying I already know off the rip the one woman that's going to say I'm not getting eliminated. So y'all figure out how y'all going to do it. And y'all know who I'm talking about.
Even though her ass should get choked out.
Yep.
She almost did, but you know.
Because the whole point, I got so many ideas right now. I think I'm gonna start writing some stuff. Like, I think we should start doing that. Like doing like some like Adam Blompier stuff and just writing like storylines. Because I got one to create for that.
Y'all know I've been trying to do that. The thing is, I get myself to a point that I want what I wrote to happen, and I end up getting pissed off because I know it's not, and I never finish it.
Benny, finish it out, write the story, and I'll put the video together, and we'll just start posting it out. I'm thinking now one of the horsewomen match on Survivor Series, and then now one for LWO to be resurrected in WWE. So that's something that this is coming out of nowhere now.
You know what? Honestly, you know what the biggest disappointment this year for me?
What's that?
Even looking outside of that, there's no war games.
No.
Oh yeah.
There's no war games.
No.
They killed war. When they called up Hit Row, they killed war games.
Yep.
Like, if I had any remote interest in NXT 2.0, the idea that now there's no war games completely kills it for me. And that they're gonna try to resurrect Ciampa and Gargano for Gargano's last run.
I was about to say, like, what are we gonna do with war games, even if we did try to do it? They've
literally broken NXT down.
Are you gonna
much that it's like there's no factions, there's no cohesive storylines. They're just injecting new people into tiny feuds that are of no consequence because they're supposed to get other guys over. But again, they keep the belt on Ciampa. The Carmelo Hayes thing was cool. Like, the way they did that was cool, whatever. But now he's beefing with Gargano and Dexter Lumis, who's so long overdue for a championship that it's hard to care about him anymore. And it's just like, and then he's another guy that I'm like, he's going to get released before he hits the main roster.
I'm sure he will.
Who's that?
Like, Dexter Lumis. Because he went from being like that scary Undertaker type character to being essentially Mick Foley.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with him.
Once they made him into like the cartoon artist, and then they made him like now he's married to Indy Hartwell, which as sweet as that is, it's like remember when we first got Kane, and then Kane started dealing with DX and X-Pac, and then Kane started dating Tori, and then Kane started doing all the comedy gimmicks, and people didn't take Kane serious for a long time until after he like took his mask off.
Yeah, until he took his mask off and went psycho.
Yeah, like that's essentially what's happening to Dexter Lumis, and I'm like, we've seen it, doesn't work, but y'all keep doing it. Okay, it's like when Shayna, because like notice Shayna went from doing comedy stuff to when she started being badass, they had her like injure a couple of people, and then now she's off TV.
Oh no, she's on TV. She's just doing stupid shit. She's freaking
breaking people's forearms, and she's breaking people's forearms that are like of no consequence.
Oh yeah,
because it's like
no, yo, I just realized it. Everybody that Shayna Baszler broke their arm except Dana Brooke has been released.
Damn.
And Dakota Kai, like they're the only two that's like still around.
She did that?
Yeah.
Dakota Kai was the first person whose arm she stepped on.
I mean, on the main roster.
Oh no, yeah,
no, main well, she was per se there. Remember that she got called back.
They had her do a bunch of dark matches, and then she wasn't.
Yeah.
They actually had Gargano and somebody else do a dark match on SmackDown. So I'm like, okay, they're either about to call Johnny Gargano up after this whole feud, but his contract still is supposed to expire in December. His contract's supposed to be gone. Kyle's is actually supposed to be gone. The only guy that re-signed was Pete Dunne, who I've not seen at all since Ridge Holland.
Would not be surprised if Pete Dunne ends up on the next round of cuts.
No, I think his contract will be over soon.
No, he re-signed.
Did he?
What successful stories? Who?
Pete Dunne.
You talking about Pete Dunne?
Yeah.
And I said he had that whole thing with Ridge Holland, and then they broke up with Oni and Birch, and then Oni gets released. So, and then they called up Ridge Holland. So Pete Dunne's essentially by himself.
He resigned in September.
Yep. But apparently, you resigning a contract doesn't mean anything.
Nope.
It doesn't mean anything. It just means your non-complete clause is longer. And it'll be annoying if they release him because he just moved his whole family to Orlando.
I think that was the whole. That was the whole thing. That was the whole thing. Was because of that. So if they do that, bro,
it's messed up. Because that's the same thing that they did with
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed.
Yep.
And he still ain't wrestled again yet.
No, I think he's coming up. I think he's gonna be on Impact, or is it New Japan? I can't remember, one of the two.
I think it's Impact because he just posted a picture of like him and Keith Lee, and I'm like, please, like if there's anything that I want Moose versus Keith Lee for the Impact Championship.
Whoo!
Because the way Moose been talking, I'm like, yeah, please bring Keith Lee, and I hope because of the fact. I know they can't do the limitless Keith Lee thing because that's probably WWE property, but give me something similar. Like I want the Bask in His Glory back. I don't know if Keith Lee owns that though.
No, he does. He does.
Huh?
He does.
Bask in His
Glory. Unlimited.
I want him to come back. I want him to come as
because on his
unlimited Keith Lee would be awesome.
Yep.
I think it was like I think it was his 24 Chronicle, whatever documentary like that they follow them. He talks about how he came with the whole Bask in My Glory thing. I
remember because I remember the indie thing was Bask in His Glory. That was from the indies.
Yeah, but that's whole Bask in My Glory that came through because he had to interview with them, and then after the interview and it didn't work out at the end, he talked with Dusty Rhodes, and Dusty was like, you have to kind of make him bask in your presence, bask in your glory. Like he was kind of talking to him like that, and he's like, there it is. He figured out after, he's like, bask in my glory. You're gonna bask in my glory. So I think honestly he owns that. I think that's his. I think that's why WWE was trying to repackage everything because they don't own that. That's all his.
If that's his, and he can come out with another song that sounded similar to his NXT one, imagine the pop of him showing up to Impact to go one-on-one with Moose. Like, that might actually make me start watching Impact. I'll figure out how to watch Impact.
Speaking of Keith Lee, his release, along with fiance's Mia Yim, was like Mia Yim hadn't been on TV since I think March, I think it was, when like she last lost her match with, like, as Reckoning.
When I tell you, you want to talk about a whiff, you want to talk about them missing from his Survivor Series run to his Royal Rumble run 2 years ago. This man was so over. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to do anything. He just showed. You ain't had to put him in that stupid unitard. You ain't have to do nothing. You just say, do whatever it is you did. Keep doing it. Keep growing in it. Go ahead. Even if you didn't want him to be in a world title, I can understand the argument of not immediately wanting him to be in the world title. But Keith Lee is like the kind of guy that you expect with like the Intercontinental title. Like, because he is so eloquent in what he does,
he can make it relevant.
Intercontinental title, and the Intercontinental title used to be such a regal kind of like gentleman's title in a lot of ways. And it has such a rich history. It was like, it's plug and play. Like, it's plug and play. Like, when you were trying to get the title off of Big E, instead of having him feud with fucking Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews, you just let his music hit during a open challenge. And you send Big E on his way. A plus B equals C.
Not in this case.
Like, it is not hard. You don't want to put him on that show? You want to put him with the U.S. title?
Sure.
Change the color. Change the color. And that's what I'm saying. If you want to put it on Damian Priest first, I get it. I understand. Cool. Whatever. Turn Keith Lee heel. Put him on the Hurt Business. Keep his whole gimmick. And put him in the Hurt Business. So that you have something for him to do. And then, when the Hurt Business blew up, Keith Lee was like, listen, I understand you want to be a world champion, but I do too. So I'm going to go make my bones. And when I'm done making my bones, I'm coming for that title that you're about to win. They shake hands. Keith Lee goes about his business. Answers an open challenge from Damian Priest before you move him to SmackDown. And then you proceed. Seamless. You've already built up another challenger in the former U.S. champion, and you let Keith Lee rock in the mid card until you're ready for him. It's not hard. Like, it's not hard. And while he's with the Hurt Business, have him win a tag title. And 1 or 2 runs with the tag title. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. It's really not hard. Like, it's not like you're writing an epic or a novel. Like, these scripts, these ideas are juvenile at best. But they would work because you're capitalizing off of someone who you brought up. Now the masses see them. They've done amazing things. Everyone loves them. You just have to keep the momentum going. Like, it's like when you drive. You're not driving manual. You're not shifting gears. You're literally driving automatic. You don't even have to tap the gas pedal that hard. You just have to control the steering wheel, tap the gas a little bit, and cruise. Just keep the momentum going. It's not difficult. But no. We don't want to see Fat Man, so let's put a unitard on. Well, his theme song isn't. I don't know what was wrong with his theme song, personally. But
the first one was licensing.
Yeah.
Okay. Have him spit a couple of bars on another track. Rinse, repeat. Keep the old bask in his glory. Rinse, repeat. Pick another, like, again, you have a video game full of tracks that you can use. Have him rap over another generic track. You had him off TV for long enough for that to happen.
That's the thing I don't get. It's like, I get he was off TV because of health issues.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're saying, take advantage of that and figure out his character. So that way when he comes back in, he knows what to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know when
and you don't really, that's the thing, you don't really have to figure out his character. There's nothing to figure out.
No.
You put him in a suit every now and again. You put him in his wrestling gear. You have him come out and you have him verbally spar with people.
This is another one of those where like Vince likes his wrestler in a certain mold. And because
not every big buff black guy is Mark Henry. I'm sorry. No. We don't want to see another Mark Henry. Mark Henry was an anomaly. He's not a standard. He was an anomaly because the man did not get over until well into his 30s. He was a joke for a large part of his early career. He wasn't scary. He wasn't intimidating. He was a fucking joke.
And it was like Big Show. It was like, okay, what are you now, heel or a face? Because you keep flipping.
Yeah. Like, you're outside of World's Strongest Man, he's best known for having sex with a 90-year-old woman and having a hand.
Was that the Hall of Pain? The Hall of Pain?
That's what I said. Before that, it was sexual chocolate. And him having sex with Mae Young and having a fucking hand.
And God forbid anybody remembers the whole, my sister thing.
People, you ask people who's in the Nation of Domination, they not gonna remember it was fucking Mark Henry.
That's the last thing that comes up, I think.
Yep. So again, y'all didn't do shit with Mark Henry either. Why are you trying to make another one? You fucked up the first one until he was damn near his 40s.
And then
you screwed up the person so that they went to work for another company because you won't actually put this man on salary. Mm-hmm. So why you trying to make another one? Make that shit make sense, please.
And they couldn't figure out Mia Yim either. I'm like, Mia Yim is simple, just like Mark. Simple. Some of these wrestlers.
Why? Because she's not a stereotypical Asian, and you're going to be upset that she's black and Asian, and she happens to present more as black than she does Asian. That's a problem. How is he like, bro? What? It's the same issue they have with Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes Martinez was, I guess, too hood, too grunge, so they didn't want to have that on regular TV. So they had to make her into some kind of weird ass comic book villain. The fuck, y'all sound stupid as shit, bro.
Yeah, it's like, make it simple, man.
The fuck is wrong with y'all?
And again, she was off TV. They couldn't figure out nothing for her. And in a division,
as many times as we heard, oh, this was gonna be the night. Oh, this was gonna be the night. Oh, this was gonna be the night.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't figure out. No, like when you literally have women who are drowning. You had a ready-made feud for her when Bianca Belair was on her way up before she won the Royal Rumble. That could have been a feud before then, right? You had a feud for her after I think when Bianca feuded with Carmella, and Carmella had nobody, so they just kind of kept Carmella off TV until Liv Morgan thing. You could have had her feud with Carmella. You could have had her feud with Liv Morgan. She didn't even have to be a face this whole time. You could have had her feud with Sasha to kind of bring Sasha along. You could have had her feud with Bayley when Bayley was having her whole little run during the Thunderdome era.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you literally could have had, there are easy ways to write her into any feud with any woman you've had on your roster in the last 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the difficulty? Please, where's the difficulty? This whole thing could have started in backstage promos that take 5 minutes. Where's the difficulty? Make the shit make sense, please. Please, make it make sense.
I wish they could, but they couldn't.
There's the difficulty right there, making it make sense.
Yep. I see them both going to probably the same organizations. Where, I don't know. We'll get to that afterwards. But Benny, you got anything to say about this one?
You know what's crazy? somebody actually said something on Twitter to Keith Lee about all the rest of the people. Yeah, it's saying the Bearcat thing, and they was just like, oh, y'all need to lay off WWE. It was probably his idea, and he just flat out just shot it up. No, it wasn't.
LOL.
Mm-hmm.
No, it
wasn't.
Not me, bro.
It's like I said. I think they were trying to make more money off of him because they were trying to trademark the name and do all that stuff. And it's like, bro, so they got a way around it. Was saying Keith Bearcat Lee.
You know what?
I'm just like,
and this is gonna sound crazy. I think if they would have just let Keith Lee rock, Keith Lee would have had the same kind of meteoric impact that The Rock had. And I think they're so scared because of how big The Rock got and how short. If you look at it, technically, The Rock had a very short WWE career.
Yeah, I think one of the things about when we think about wrestlers and the turnover and all kinds of other stuff, WWE's biggest boom period was only like 4 years. The Attitude Era went from 98 to 2002.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So when we sit up here and when people look back and they look back so fondly at, well, you guys created all these stars, and I'm not trying to give WWE an out here, but when they look back and they say, you guys created all of these stars, you had Triple H, you had Stone Cold, you had The Rock, you had all of these people that came up in that time period, and they were all amazing in that period. I'm like, yeah, that's great. All right. How long has John Cena been wrestling? John Cena debuted in 2002. I want to say 2000. It's probably around 2003, but 2002, 2003. That's when he debuted on the main roster.
Him and LeBron been in their leagues the same amount of time.
Right. Same thing with Randy Orton. Right. So
Randy
like I said,
and John Cena all debuted the same year.
They're all the time. Mm-hmm. And Randy Orton's the only one that never left. So I get it. With some people like them, it's hard to be like, all right, well, I got to find something new for Randy Orton to do, who's been on the main roster with very little time off for 18 years. But when you're talking about, your Keith Lee, bro, the biggest issue when it comes to them is the fact that somebody like Vince has to micromanage absolutely everything. If his fingerprints aren't on it being good, he doesn't want it. And that to me is a major, major issue. Why the hell do you
That's why Bobby Roode has not been a major champion.
Right. And I'm sitting up here wondering, like, if you're going out here, I'm gonna put this little analogy out here. If you had the opportunity to go out here and buy Knight Rider, or you have the opportunity to go out here and build Knight Rider, but your race date is tomorrow, Vince McMahon is going to go try and build it. And it makes no sense. You have a ready-made win right there, and you don't want to use it because of the fact that it's not 100% on you and everything like that. And the other thing, like when they're talking about going on that line where he has to have everything going his way, one of the things somebody else was saying, I don't remember exactly who it was, so I'm not even going to try and quote him. You have a situation where The Rock went off and he did his thing in Hollywood, right? Roman Reigns is currently, he's your top star and everything like that, but he can all pretty much probably go doing the same thing. You had the issue with Twitch where they wanted to have their hands on absolutely everything. What I see them trying to do right now is to put themselves in the position where they have the actual moral right to say, we made you, so you owe us this. Because Adam Cole
is what they do with John. They get a piece of John's movie money.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying like this right here. You got Adam Cole or AJ Styles, for instance. All right. AJ Styles has his Twitch channel or whatever. Now, granted, AJ doesn't care because that's his whole thing. All right. But say AJ was just like, nah, you can't have my Twitch channel. You didn't make me. I was AJ Styles before I came here. Now, if Braun Breaker goes and tries to make a Twitch channel, now they have an argument. This is the only reason why you even have the slightest bit of a following is because of the fact that you were on our TV, that we pushed you and we put you in this position, regardless of what your last name is, because we never told anybody what your last name was. So I don't know, man. I'm at a loss at the moment. The whole Keith Lee thing kills me because, like I said, you had the perfect storm of everything that you would think that Vince likes. The big meaty men slapping meat, to quote Big E.
Power moves. He had he had the athleticism to wrestle just about anybody and make it look fantastic.
And the thing about it is, one of the things that they always say, WWE creates moments. All right. Keith Lee has some of the best moments in the short amount of time that he was on NXT that I've ever seen.
They called him the moment maker, coming out of that.
The first couple of things that I think about when I think of Keith Lee is him pouncing Adam Cole into the crowd, into the orbit. And anytime, like the whole gif with Finn Balor doing the finger guns, and then you just see Keith Lee rise up behind him like a kaiju. You got that right there. You got your moments with Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, where Brock Lesnar put him over.
Roman Reigns put him over.
Yeah, I'm
Survivor
just saying,
Series.
Survivor Series moment. Bro, you gave him wins over Randy Orton on his first night on the Raw.
And you can't figure out what to do with him?
You can't figure out what to do with him.
It was nothing to do. It was simple. Like it's like you going out to the bar, right? And you ain't dressed up all that much, but you just chilling. You are, you're not solving man to nothing, but you okay. You go to the bar, you have this hot, sexy ass woman just come up to you, be like, yo, what's up, Poppy? Next, you like, and she gives you all the vibes. You got to smash, and you ain't got to do nothing, but you gonna smash. This is the same thing as you ain't got to do nothing. Keith Lee is there. He has everything, the promo skills, the in-ring ability. All you got to do is just kind of pass the way to get him to where he needs to go.
All you have to do is not screw up.
But it's Vince McMahon.
It's the game manager quarterback type thing. Don't go lose the game, and that's all I'm asking you to do.
That's it.
I got a Hall of Fame offensive line and Derrick Henry in front of me, but I want to throw for 500 yards.
Not even that. You had freaking
the Dallas Cowboys. Henry. The Dallas Cowboys offensive line.
Not even that. You had the Dallas Cowboys OG offensive line. You had Derrick Henry. You had OG Julio Jones, and you had Calvin Johnson out there, along with freaking give me a slot. I need an all Hall of Fame slot. Julian Edelman, just throwing it out there. You have freaking Julian Edelman, who never drops anything, and you just have to not lose the game. You threw Julio into getting hurt. You threw Calvin into shattering his hip bone. You threw Julian into another concussion protocol. You held the ball so long that all your offensive linemen got hurt, and Derrick Henry just broke his foot. That's the equivalent to what Vince McMahon just did in the last 3 years. I mean, bro, you had Adam Cole. You had you made Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa mega stars to a point where they were getting reactions without music.
No music. Mm-hmm.
You basically turned Drew McIntyre into a freaking mega star by bringing him back. You got your replacement to Undertaker and Aleister Black if you book it right. You have your replacement to Eddie Guerrero and
Andrade.
And Andrade and Zelina. Like, you had all the elements that made WWE great for that time, plus the 2000s era, and you got rid of all of them. And to try and put over guys that have been here for 10 years.
In order to fight one person.
Because of the fact it was Trips that did it all in the NXT. And I just saw a meme where it's like, remember that scene at the end of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where
when Triple H, Will was walking around looking at the empty room.
Yeah, that's Trips going into NXT because like almost everybody he's brought in is gone, and or they're going to be gone soon.
Because again, Kevin Owens' contract expires, Johnny Gargano contract expires, Cal O'Reilly contract expires.
They're not resigning. The writing's on the wall, bro. I
don't even know what's going on with Tommaso right now.
Well, he has that same neck injury as
right. So Tommaso will probably do his last little run, and he may retire from wrestling. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. So going up to the last couple, that it's Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux.
Like again, bro. Like you redid and that's the thing. This is the one time where like they repackaged somebody one time and it worked. They repackaged Killer Kross as Karrion Kross, brought in the whole gladiator, brought in the whole witch thing, as in like like they had the whole gimmick where she's basically summoning him. And then he comes to the ring and just starts obliterating people. She barely spoke. She just kind of showed up, looking all witchy and hot and sexy and just dripping with charisma. He showed up, badass as hell, punching people in the face, doing all the technical shit that you want from your small guys. And it's like, this is perfect. This is like Wagyu. This is like 30-year-old Wagyu steak, charred perfectly with like the perfect lobster risotto. Like this is the perfect 5-star plus restaurant meal from the top chef in the world, and they're handing it to you, and you're like, nah, I want chicken nuggets. Make this shit make sense, please.
I don't think we even can.
Like the moment they brought him
the
up,
crazy part is I was actually mad when he took the belt off Keith Lee. I was upset.
Oh yeah, I think we all were. I think we all were. To be honest, I think we all were. I could probably say we all were more upset.
Because it's like, nah, Keith Lee is going up too early. But you know what? Fuck it. Keith Lee's going to the main roster, so we'll take it.
Yeah.
Man gets hurt, can't, it was a hell of a match. Man separated his shoulder.
But he finished it. But he finished that,
Yeah, but he finished the fuck out of it, and that was a great-ass match. Yeah. So, you know what? Can't even get mad. This motherfucker shows up on the main roster, no Scarlett, NXT title, losing on a fucking roll-up to Jeff Hardy. Love Jeff Hardy, but the way he's positioned in this company right now, that's dog shit. Like, if you're going to have him lose to somebody, you have him lose on like a last-second Claymore to Drew McIntyre after taking Drew to the limit. Or you have him get choked out by Roman Reigns because he missed the straight jacket, where it's like Roman Reigns is just a little bit smarter because he has a little more experience. But that's a hell of a match. And it's like, that's a scary ass NXT champion because he almost choked out Roman Reigns.
That right there is how you would, I didn't even think of nothing like that. Jay, props to you, bro.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not, I'm not trying. That's the thing. I'm not even trying to come up with, that's just off the top of the head. Like, if you're gonna have your NXT champion lose, and you're gonna have it be this scary kind of Psycho Sid plus kind of motherfucker, that's how you're gonna have them lose. You don't have them get rolled. Like, if Jeff Hardy was Willow and he was busting people's ass left, right, and center, and motherfuckers was scared to step to him, and he almost choked Jeff out, and Jeff hit him with like I'm about to backflip, and I rolled you up, and I pinned your shoulders down, but you're still in the chokehold, and like Jeff collapses after the 3 from being choked out, a la what they were doing to Shayna Baszler before they started being stupid and having her getting rolled up. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I would understand it, because he would have been at that point where it's like, nah, ain't nobody really beating Jeff Hardy right now. So the fact that he almost beat Jeff Hardy is like,
okay. Or Willow.
Yeah, or the fact that he almost beat Willow, it's like, oh shit, okay. Like, he's supposed to be in this. But the fact that you did something so petty, so absolutely, like, it's like, oh, I don't like the tattoo on my arm, so I'm gonna cut the skin off. It'll heal. Bro, you're fucking stupid. Like, on the list of bad decisions, this is by far top 5.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
fucking stupid. It's like, just like I didn't understand them bringing up Kevin Owens to beat John Cena, but it made Kevin Owens always feel relevant, regardless. And that's what you're supposed to do. Like, even if you don't want him to lose to a world champion, right? And he loses to a guy like Damian Priest.
You're still talking about somebody who has momentum at that point.
Right. So it's like, you understand why they lost, but it's like, oh, I'm going to see you down the road.
And you can also say this is why there's a difference between NXT roster wrestlers and the main roster wrestlers.
Right.
But because not when like you have Jeff Hardy went on a roll up.
Not even that, bro. Like, Karrion Kross and Damian Priest have history.
Yep.
Before Priest got called up.
Oh no, I know.
So you even use that where like he comes out and he had the open challenge and Karrion Kross answers it. And you know, because Kross has been around for a while and he had to work to get that title shot, and now he's a champion. Now he has that little bit extra. So now, you know, for Kross, even when he comes up, he's still gonna need a little bit more time before he's ready to really be that guy. But he's still that good where he's still beating a guy like Finn Balor, who's been to the top of the mountain, but he can't beat, you know, a guy like Damian Priest, because Damian Priest is just a little bit better. And he's gotten that much better since he's left NXT. That's scripting storyline. That makes it.
On top of the fact that it makes it like, all right, this is a person that we've had in these marquee situations. You trusted Damian Priest with Bad Bunny. So you got your mainstream audience out here looking at, oh, well, this guy just came up or whatever. You know, this guy Karrion Kross, he just came up. He's out here. He took Damian Priest to the limit.
And his presentation's cool. And he's
especially if you don't strip all that stuff away from him.
Right. So it's like, not only is his presentation fan-fucking-tastic, but now he's taking a guy that now the mainstream audience knows is a pretty legit badass and just took him to the limit. Didn't win, but took him to the fucking limit.
And here's the crazy part. That whole thing with the helmet, he didn't like that shit either. There was the tweet too about that.
He didn't like anything.
He didn't like that
presentation, bro.
And
like
another
the fact that they even tried to turn. I don't understand why they even tried to turn Scarlett into a wrestler. It's the same reason why I don't understand why they tried to turn Selena Vega into a wrestler. But then I find out later Selena wanted to be a wrestler, so I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, fuck it. But Scarlett, you can have her do what you used to do with female managers, where they have some interference and you bring them along slowly, and then you have them have matches in the women's division because you're having them feud with guys of like similar style. Like, and Andrade, like if you keep Andrade versus Karrion Kross, right? With Andrade potentially having a mid-card title, and then you have the Zelina Scarlett storyline, is how you would perfectly use both entities to the maximum of their ability while increasing both divisions and pushing forward storyline. And it doesn't take much. But
it does. Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
It takes Vincent K. McMahon, his ego, his pride. That's what it takes, bro.
Bro, they're under your umbrella. Like, what the fuck else do you want? Like, that's my thing.
I know, but you have to realize you
already changed his name. Dog.
He wants the ability to say, "You're there because of me. You have that success because of me." You just
but again, as much people knew about Killer Kross. Like, I knew a little bit about Killer Kross before he became Karrion Kross and went to NXT.
I didn't know anything about him.
I got to be honest. Exactly. Now I know who he is because he was on NXT. And that's enough to say, like, yeah, I made you. Like, yeah, no, you have a certain level of credibility to be like, nah, he was nice on the indies, but like I didn't really know him until he came to WWE. That's enough. Like that you're giving WWE their due to be like, listen, you got these guys and you elevated what was already great about them. You didn't have to change them. You just elevated what was already great. Because literally guys like Karrion Kross and Keith Lee just needed the production budget that WWE had for them to be great. Give them the production budget and back the fuck up.
Yep. The crazy part too is
not
that
hard, bro. Like
they sent him home because they're gonna repackage him.
Yeah, there was supposedly going to be another repackage for Karrion Kross. I'm like, dude, seriously?
Yeah. If I follow his IG account and he was growing his hair out a little bit, it wasn't like a lot, like long, like like that. But you could see the stubbles in his head. He was growing his hair out. I'm not sure how long he was gonna grow it out for, but his hair was coming out.
He would have got booed as soon as he showed up.
He would have got booed.
Yeah,
he laughed my ass off if he looked like Baron Corbin before he cut his hair.
That's probably what he would have looked like too.
I don't know because he was wearing suits, so I'm trying to figure out if they were going like some kind of business type attire, maybe build off his whole. He used to be a hitman type thing, maybe I don't know. And then the thing is like, where does Scarlett fall into this?
Karrion Kross.
My whole thing is like, yo, why? What is the logic of splitting them up? Like I never That's the one thing that always just. What I hope after this no compete clause, somebody does an interview with both of them and just is like, yo, what the fuck, bro?
I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if I don't know which one came before. Did Cross debut on the main roster without Scarlett first, or did Adam Cole drop that promo first? Where he said, strip away your entrance and all that other stuff and what's left.
I think
Adam Cole had the promo first because that happened on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to think about that right now because
honestly, that was more coming from the fact that people are like, yo, can Karrion Kross actually wrestle, or is he only as good as we think he is because he's had great partners?
I get you. I hear you, but my thing is, I've heard also multiple times, watch what you say and do around Vince McMahon because it can become a gimmick. God forbid that was the one time that he was actually watching NXT.
I think he might have been backstage around that time. Because again, that might have been something that didn't come from Adam Cole. It might have been something that came from Vince McMahon. And he just said it through Adam Cole.
Sounds like Vince McMahon do
that. Because that sounds more like Vince McMahon than Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's one thing too I forgot to mention about Mia Yim. She's currently the up, up, down, down champion.
Oh, that shit's gone. I'll tell you what, honestly, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Up, up, down, down is dead. It's dead, bro.
Yeah, it took a lot of hits, man. I haven't watched it.
They stripped most of that roster.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got rid of Chugs. You got rid of BRE Start is only now Shayna and Dakota. That's it.
Yeah, that was a big group too.
So essentially, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Left, right, gone. Pretty much gone. It's just Cesaro and Dino Malden. That's it. It's gone.
Yeah, that show took a big hit from the releases. Nobody realizes this unless you actually watch it.
Those shows, like, if you look at, even go back even further, when you look at when they took away Talking Smack made Baron Corbin relevant. Talking Smack revitalized him in his career. And then you just, because of budget, because, no, we're going to bring back another show that did nothing. Nothing. Like, why? It doesn't make sense to me why they keep rocking the boat and then blaming, this is a negative number. Like, you didn't give these things enough time to flip over to the positive.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm worried about Big E's title reign. Because in the situation that we're in right now, you're looking at, Raw does these bad numbers or whatever. You have Roman, which even though this isn't something that's new, but you got Roman coming out being like, I took a week off and SmackDown was boring. It was almost like watching Raw. I'm like, all right, I get it from Roman standpoint because Roman is a dick regardless, but I don't want that to turn into, Big E, you were the champion during this horrible time. Everything must have been your fault.
Oh, you mean like they did to Drew?
Yeah.
And that they're going to keep doing to whom? Because again, they can't take responsibility for the show being bad. It has to be
absolutely not. It has to be whoever's there.
Yeah, it has to be who's behind the champion. Because I guarantee you, during Seth Rollins' last championship run, like if you put the title on Seth Rollins now, nobody's going to watch it. Doesn't matter. When Seth Rollins was a babyface and he had the title, still low. Didn't change anything.
It's all about people tend to forget that when they did the whole Rollins and Becky and tag teaming against Baron Corbin and what's her name?
Lacey
Evans. They were getting crap for that because it was bad. It wasn't
bad.
Seth and Becky's fault. It's just the scripting and storylines and the promos that they were writing for them was bad. It's nothing to do with
it's
Becky.
Not even just that. Look at the caliber of who are they going up against. Like no disrespect to anybody's craft, but look what you're dropping down from. Seth beat Brock Lesnar to become Universal Champion. Becky won a triple threat, which was the main event of WrestleMania, against Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. And their next opponents are Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin? Come on.
Yeah.
You're setting them up for failure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about the last one that we accidentally skipped, but it's gonna be one that's interesting to talk about because there's a little controversy on it, and that's Nia Jax. And the reason I say that is because of the fact that she took time off for her mental health. She asked for an extension, never heard back, and when she did, she was released.
Yep.
Okay, we get there's a lot of issues with Nia Jax because they said she's an unsafe worker. We see things like that, but let's take that out of the conversation. She took a break because she had some personal issues to take care of. I saw her IG. She had personal issues to take care of, and then on the 5th, I forgot what it was. She said she was asking for an extension, more time off because she got her schedule. And she wanted more extend her time off, and never heard back from them. And next thing you know, she's get cut.
Mm-hmm.
That don't look good. You have somebody coming to tell you they need more time because of a mental break they need to take, and you don't say nothing. You just cut them. But then you want to go about and say like, "Yo, we take care of our wrestling, we do all this." But yeah, this one person comes back and it's like, she gets fired, she gets released. Like, that's not it's like we've talked about this. I think there's no legal ramifications that we are aware of at the moment because we're not lawyers that WWE can face from this. But in the public eye, that looks bad. You can say budget cuts for all you want, but the fact that you ignored her request, you didn't even get back to her, not like that, you just released her, that looks bad.
Like I said, personal feelings about Nia Jax aside, like Sasha Banks did the same thing, and y'all fought for her to come back. But Nia Jax, who was one of your better talents through your toughest era of the pandemic era, that you have had to who asked for some time off after an altercation due to probably a toxic locker room culture that you created.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna release her? Like, it's messy. It's dirty. Like, I can't. I really do feel for her. And if she does decide to continue to wrestle, I honestly hope she goes somewhere and becomes a mega star. Mm-hmm. Like, I hope she's the type to like lift a promotion out of like when Ring of Honor comes back, I hope she's the type to like go to Ring of Honor and really just become special and just prove everybody wrong. Like, because it one, I've never understood the scrutiny with her when it was like, it's not her fault that she didn't get the training. It's their fault for calling her up too soon. Mm-hmm. And it's always been their fault. especially when you put her with tiny humans all the time, where mistakes are bound to happen because you're putting her with tiny humans all the time.
Yep.
What did you think was going to happen? It's just, I don't know. Like, it's so infuriating. It's so infuriating. Like, just like on top of everything, like this one too, just it rubs me like just all the wrong ways, because it's like, you have the audacity to blame this woman for needing a break because you created something that now you can't control. And then you fire her? Okay. That's what I can look at. Okay. All right. That's what we're doing. I really hope she becomes a megastar and makes them eat shit. I really do.
Even if it's not in the ring. Even if it's not in the ring, Nia Jax was a plus size model before she came into wrestling. Like, go out there and become the next Giselle Bundchen.
Yep. Hell, you got the connection to the movies. This man got his own production company. If she goes into acting, I hope she's incredible.
Yep.
Now I'm sitting up here, I'm looking at the situation, and I'm just like, there's a couple of things that I'm worried about, and I'm not trying to get too into the whole political side of it, however anybody's views of, taking a vaccine or not. But
I love how that was a scapegoat excuse. That was the catalyst. It was somebody really tried to spin it from and it feels like to me somebody leaked that from WWE trying to say like, oh, this is why we did it before the truth came out.
Right. And because of the fact, and she went out there herself and was basically like, I wasn't contacted. Nobody said or asked anything about my vaccination status. So, like I said, regardless of what anybody's views are on taking the vaccine, like, you can't use somebody's vaccination status as a reason for firing them if that's not the reason. If you don't have if you don't have a public mandate, which, for all intents and purposes, that would be legal for them to do. They're a company. They can set whatever standards that they want. But what you can't do is sit up there and be like, oh, well, that was the reason, and have it not be the reason. That's like me sitting up here, getting fired for stealing boxes on my day off, like my name is Craig from Friday. I mean, like, it's just I don't understand it. So there's that situation right there. People sit up there and they bring up this idea that, oh, well, she was dangerous in the ring and all of this other stuff. And while she didn't have a good track record, neither did Charlotte, neither did Seth Rollins.
Nope. The whole thing Seth Rollins especially.
Yes.
Especially Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins has the infamous, and I mean absolutely infamous reputation of being the one that ended the career of one of the legends of the wrestling industry with that buckle bomb when he took Sting out. And you see
arguably derailing one of the hottest runs in the company, in Finn Balor, who's never recovered from it.
Nope.
Ever.
So, like I said, we can sit up here and you can bring up, oh, well, it was this thing right here, but it was this thing right over there. She didn't do this right here. She didn't do that. I mean, I'm not trying to sit up here and say an injury is ever a good thing, but WWE creates moments, don't they? Would you have remembered the night that SmackDown invaded Raw if Becky Lynch wasn't out there in the crowd with her face all bloodied up and broken? Probably not.
Nope.
And the thing is, like, that could happen to anybody. Anybody can throw those punches and just misconnect and hit the nose.
And then, if you want to take it even further than that, why is it that Becky Lynch was in the main event of WrestleMania that year after that anyway? It's because she couldn't compete at Survivor Series.
So, fact of Nia Jax gave you the Becky Lynch main event.
Absolutely.
Blame her? And y'all gonna say she don't deserve some time off because the internet can't see through their own ass?
I'm like, and I'm not trying to sit up here and say that an injury is ever good, but look what happened because of that. so much stuff was actually put into motion with that one thing. Hell, Kofi Kingston ended up having Kofi Mania because Mustafa Ali got hurt.
And Mustafa has still never recovered from that.
Right. So I'm sitting up here and I'm just like, all right, well, like I said, you can sit up here and have whatever opinion that you want from her. I've said for a while, like, send her back. Send her down to NXT, send her to the Performance Center. You want to tell Keith Lee that he needs, extra time in the Performance Center, to sharpen up his skills.
Keith Lee, you want to tell Otis?
Yeah, all of these people. And you didn't send it like that. I understand it from that standpoint. But at the same time, if you're going to sit there and do that, then you need to send Charlotte Flair out to be like, all right, well, I need some type of, anger management training so that when somebody I'm wrestling has a concussion and they don't take a move that I want them to take, that I don't slap them in the face. So, like I said, we could sit up here and we could talk about anything like that. All right. I'm still looking at this situation where I'm like, all right, you have a lot that's going on with that Nia Jax situation. She got caught up in this whole thing right here. It's messed up to the point where, as Paul said, I don't know if she has any legal ground to stand on. And even because of the fact that she has this stigma around her, I don't think that the moral thing is going to go, in her favor either. But let it happen again. Let it happen again to somebody else. And if we want to get on the vaccination status, guess who isn't, or who is completely anti-COVID vaccine? Sasha. Are you going to let go of one of the 4 horsewomen because of this? Because if that's what you're putting out there in the ether, not that I'm saying I want her to go. As I said, Sasha's my favorite out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As far as in ring goes, Sasha is my favorite women's wrestler on the roster. But are we gonna? I'm not a fan of double standards. So where are we going?
Here's something else too. This is something that somebody mentioned to me. What if all of this is on purpose? Is like I brought it up too. This is a deadly game that Vince is playing with people's lives, flooding the free agency market with all this talent, hoping that AEW signs all this, so they get cluttered, kind of like WCW was, and it goes to their doom.
Oh, you mean like how they did to themselves?
See, there are two sides to that coin, because technically, yeah, he's right. It could happen, and AEW could run out of money before they could pay people. But you could also create another ECW.
And here's the thing, though:
you can create another TNA.
Tony Khan was like, "We can play this game. I got more money than Vince."
Yeah.
He's like, I can
forget how much money. Then that's
they
the
don't
thing
realize.
Forget how much money the Khans really
I think Vince really forgot about that, because Tony was like, I can have a show with no commercials, and I'll be good. I don't need commercials. I don't need
the money. Tony did this because he loves wrestling.
Yeah.
Tony's not doing this for the money, and that's the difference. Tony's actually not doing this for the payout.
Yeah.
So he went along with Cody and the Bucks because they're like, yo, we need an alternative for wrestling fans
from WWE.
Yeah, the other shit is just it's glitter. It's fucking like it's icing. It's topics. But at the end of the day, they're putting on a fucking wrestling show. Am I sports entertained all the time? Not necessarily, which is why I don't really fuck with AEW like that, because I like my sports entertainment. But the way WWE set up right now, they ain't even sports entertainment. They're fucking Disney with wrestling. And they don't have a Marvel. So like, if Disney didn't have fucking Marvel, I wouldn't be fucking with Disney either. Honestly. Yeah. They got the one shit that keeps me around, that keeps me buying into their shit. They got that, and they got Kingdom Hearts. And they really ain't got Kingdom Hearts no more, because I ain't played Kingdom Hearts since the fucking second one. So
I did.
And the thing is, WWE had their Marvel NXT, and then now they destroyed it, and we don't know what they have.
It's like if fucking Disney blew up the MCU, like, what the fuck what's wrong with y'all motherfuckers, man?
Mm-hmm.
And they blew up their shit, and I'm just like, you know what? I might fuck around and just watch Rampage. I might fuck around and watch Dynamite. Just kind of dip my toe in it, just see if I can fuck with it. Because I liked Orange Cassidy. I just, I feel like they kind of fucked him up a little bit too, but he's still around. He's still chilling. I love Pac. Pac is my guy. Love, especially love this whole bastard Pac thing. Love it. Love Andrade. I just don't really, I can't fuck with him right now with the way he's doing this whole Charlotte thing, but he's doing good work. Love Malachi Black. I don't know what the fuck they got him doing over there, though. He's on some weird shit, but I like it. Fucking love Darby Allin. I'm a full-on fan of Darby Allin. I fucking love Darby Allin.
I like that shit.
So like I can watch AEW and I can enjoy it for the most part. I'm trying to get into this whole Hangman Page thing. I don't really get them too much, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Cowboys did, yo.
Yeah.
I'm black, bro.
But yeah, it's interesting to see where all this is going to go with all this new talent has been released, and where they
don't be surprised if we start covering other shows.
Yeah,
we've been covering WWE for a long time, and it like I don't even think I've watched the show.
It's rough to keep doing it.
Thank God there's Twitter and Instagram and YouTube where I can just be like, oh, that's what's going on. Okay, cool, thanks. But actually watching the show,
it's rough.
It's tough.
Like I'm gonna sit up here. I'm gonna be honest with you. When Monday Night Football runs out, when that season is over, when NCIS's season runs out or whatever, I'm gonna be a little annoyed on Mondays, man.
Yeah, Mondays might be a video game night for real. Like that might be a designated video game night. Cause well, I mean, hopefully there's some basketball games on Monday because then I could watch that shit. Because I might fuck around and start watching hockey. Honestly, that's how much I don't want to watch Raw. Like that's where I'm at.
Ship sailed with me.
Yeah, no, I know.
Last time they went on strike.
I'll put it to you this way: the only reason why I was watching Raw is because I wanted to see what they were going to do with Keith Lee.
And now, they don't have any more reason to do so.
I don't have any reason to watch Raw anymore. Like I have no motivation. Like love Big E. Always going to support him. Always going to, like, that might be like, oh, Big E's on a segment. Let me watch this segment and then bounce type shit.
Right.
Or like, let me watch the rerun of that segment on YouTube since that's the numbers that they use now. I might fuck around and do that. But like, I don't give a fuck about nobody else.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
I'm watching all the Xavier Woods segments right now, and that's about the only part of wrestling that I'm trying to keep up with is Xavier Woods is King Woods. That's all I care about in wrestling. Everything else is inconsequential.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, thank you for joining us for another show. A review of these releases is crazy, and shocking, and we don't know what's going to happen.
It's another sad show, another very depressing show, but
with the rants.
This is what WWE has done for us now.
And we're probably going to be back on this exact same topic in about 3 months.
Probably, yeah.
Less than 3 months. I call it less. Because there's still a lot of people. There's still a lot of people that are still in the ether that they're not using yet. Like I'm waiting for Ricochet to get released.
In a couple months, Morgan to get released. Remember what's coming up. You got Royal Rumble coming up in a couple months.
Do they have people? Do they have 30 people for Royal Rumble?
They're gonna call. They're gonna call up the NXT guys that do the Royal Rumble and watch a couple of them.
Finally see Braun Breaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take on Brock Lesnar.
Vlad Vucevic or some shit like that.
Von Wagner,
who sounds like a fucking made up basketball player or like a bullshit like a bullshit linebacker that you make in fucking Madden.
Oh man. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, the heel heat is out.